If you own a Sony mirrorless camera but don't have a field monitor like this, I'll show you how to turn any smartphone into a fully professional field monitor. Hey fellow filmmakers and visual storytellers, RJ Bukula here to help empower you to tell better visual stories with the best filmmaking tips, tricks, and techniques. When you're starting out in filmmaking, camera gear, or the lack of it to be precise, always seems to be the number one excuse that hinders our awesome film ideas from ever materializing. We're perpetually waiting for the right time when all the pieces are in place, which for many of us is when we have acquired the best camera gear and accessories to produce our Hollywood-level cinematic masterpiece. The reality is, the path to perfection is never instant or direct. We don't simply wake up the next day and become Christopher Nolan all of a sudden. Nolan's first feature-length film, Following, was extremely low budget, with very limited equipment, shooting only with natural light, and he used his friends and family for cast and crew, as well as their houses for locations. Being an independent filmmaker essentially means knowing how to work with what you've got, whether that means limited budget, limited knowledge, or especially limited gear. For example, instead of buying an expensive field monitor, you could actually use your smartphone that you already own to do the job. I made a video about it here where, with an inexpensive HDMI capture card and the right cables, you could set up your phone as a monitor screen for your camera. It was a simple solution, but somewhat lacking when it comes to the professional features you typically find on a professional field monitor. Thankfully, I stumbled upon this app called Monitor Plus that turns your Android or iPhone into a full-fledged field monitor with all the bells and whistles you need for a professional video production shoot. What's up? I just want to show you my Monitor Plus setup using iPad Pro 11-inch. And as you can see, I've got this top-down camera setup here with a C-stand and then a cable going directly into the iPad, USB-C, with a dongle. As you can see in this big, nice 11-inch screen, you can see everything with all the scopes and analytics. And I can hit record right there. And now I'm recording. Pretty cool, huh? What really elevates this app is the fully functional set of features that you would normally find with a professional field monitor. This includes focus peaking to assist you with perfect manual focus, false colors to measure the light intensity of your scene, zebras and histograms to make sure your shot is never overexposed, composition guides such as rule of thirds and anamorphic crops, and the ability to apply a preview LUT if you're shooting in a log color profile. A really handy feature with this app is the ability to hit record remotely on your smartphone. I know for me, the placement of the record button on my Sony a6500 is annoyingly hard to find and press, especially when recording myself. Pressing the big red record button on my forward-facing smartphone that's acting as a monitor is a massive help. But that's just the half of it. With Monitor Plus, you can also remotely control and change the other settings on your camera, such as exposure and recording settings. Unfortunately, if you have an older camera like mine, not all the remote settings will be functional. Not all field monitors offer the ability to have a separate video recording saved on the monitor itself. This is usually reserved for higher-end monitors like the Atomos Ninja, which can capture an even higher quality video file than your camera itself. Monitor Plus isn't quite there, but it can record basic Full HD video files separately on your phone, which can be used as a backup recording, preview recordings you can send to clients, or even for a quick upload on social media. What I do appreciate about this app is that it can still work with older Sony cameras of the last decade. You might not get all the features like remotely controlling exposure and recording settings, but at the very least, it is a fully functional field monitor with the pro tools and guides you need to assist your filmmaking. As I just mentioned, it does kind of suck that on older cameras like my a6500, I'm unable to maximize the full potential of the Monitor Plus app, and I'm limited to wide connection only. But if you do have the latest Sony mirrorless camera, whether full frame or crop sensor, then you can make the most of remotely controlling your shutter speed, ISO, white balance, aperture, frame rate, resolution, video codec, picture profiles, and even touch autofocus and focus pulling. During a recent professional studio shoot where my a6500 was the B cam and I used a Monitor Plus on an old Android phone as a field monitor, I did encounter a problem where the false colors were not as accurate when compared to the $500 Atomos Ninja on a Sony FX6 cinema camera. We were setting up a shot that required a green screen, and we were using the false colors feature on our field monitors to calibrate for even lighting on the green screen. The Monitor Plus false color readings were not entirely matching the readings on the Atomos Ninja. Though the differences were slightly inaccurate, this $20 app was still fairly functional and comparable to a $500 field monitor. Now that's value. My last con, although it doesn't affect me, is that this amazing app is only limited to Sony branded cameras. And that's understandable because each camera manufacturer have their own hardware and software architecture, and no single app could possibly accommodate every camera model. I'm just grateful that the Monitor Plus developers were able to make such an app that unlocks so much functionality that surpasses even the official Sony software like Sony Imaging Edge. I only wonder if similar apps like Monitor Plus exist for other camera brands and models. If you saw the recent Christopher Nolan big budget blockbuster, Oppenheimer, and was wowed by the IMAX shot visuals and masterful filmmaking, be comforted to know that even Nolan started as a no-budget filmmaker with a single cheap film camera, no lighting gear, no professional actors, using only what was available to him. By honing his craft and keeping that attitude of resourcefulness, he was able to pave the way to a very successful filmmaking career. For us aspiring filmmakers, it begins now. How can we make the most of what we have? How can we work like a pro now as we gradually develop our skills and gear? What filmmaking attitude will we adopt? Forever waiting for the right gears to buy and never creating anything? Or taking the baby steps of creating now, making mistakes, owning our imperfections, and learning and growing each day, working towards our filmmaker dreams? Hey, if you found value in this video, please do help give that good old algorithm a push by hitting the like button or subscribe to my channel to see more awesome content like this. Until next time, reframe your mind.